Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you how to make this beautiful simple bead bag. If you love the idea, don't forget to give this tutorial a good thumbs up. So over here guys, I've got my beads and also a thread, and I'm going to cut a long enough thread so that I can create this bag. So what I'm going to do is, on one side of the thread I am going to put 2 beads, and the other side I'm going to put 1 bead. As you can see, there are 3 beads. Then I'm going to pass them through the thread. Then I'm going to use 1 to cross the 2 threads in between. So once you're done, this is how it looks, like a flower. So you want to create another flower on top of it. I am going to insert 1 bead on both threads, and then use the third one to cross over the 2 threads. So this is how it would look. So you want to continue doing the same thing on each side of the thread. Insert 1 bead and then use the third one to cross over. So you want to do this until you reach the length that you want. So guys, I have already reached the length that I want, and I'm going to turn the chain. And as I'm turning the chain, I'm going to use the thread on the left to insert 2 beads so that we can change the direction of our bead or our bag. So I'm going to insert 2 beads on the left side of the thread, and then I am going to insert another 1 bead on the right thread. This third bead is going to be used to cross over the 2 threads. And you will notice that the direction of the threads have changed. 1 on the left and 1 on the right also. So now we want to continue making this bag, and the left thread I am going to insert 2 beads. Then I'm going to take the right thread and insert 1 bead. Then I'm going to cross over the 2 threads. And this is to create another flower right on top of the first chain. So in order for us to continue this chain, you want to, as you can see, the direction of the thread has changed. The other one is facing up and the other thread is facing down, the opposite direction. So we want to take the chain that is facing down and pass it through the next bead at the bottom. Now you will notice that the thread have changed the direction. It will be more like an L shape. So the other thread on top, I will insert 1 bead. And then I'll use another thread and insert the other bead, of which it's going to be used to cross over the 2 threads. So once you've created another flower, you want to continue doing the same thing. Use the bottom thread, insert it on the next bead, and then we're going to use 2 beads from here. So on the thread that is facing up, you want to insert 1 bead, and then use another bead to cross over the 2 threads. So once you're done doing this, at the end of the first chain, I'm going to show you how to do the third row of the beads. In order to create the third beads, I am going to turn the chain, and the thread at the bottom is the one that I'm going to use to turn. So I'm going to insert one bead through the chain or the thread, and then I'm going to use the second one to cross the two threads. Now guys, you will notice that the direction of the thread has changed. I'm going to take the thread on the left and put two beads, and I'm going to use the third beads to cross the two threads. So now I am going to be using the bottom thread to pass it through the next bead. Then I'm going to take the thread on the top that is facing up and insert one bead, and then this other bead is the second bead is going to be used to cross the two threads. So guys, you want to continue doing the same thing until you reach the width of the bag that you want. So guys, I'm going to count the top beads, which are 24, and the side beads are 13. So the width and the length of my bag is 24 by 13. So right now I'm just finishing off the thread. I just want to thread it in and just remove the thread. So you want to pass the thread through other beads that are done, then tie a knot, then cut it out. So the next thing that we need to do is to create the side of the bag, and I've already done one side. So I'm going to show you how I did this. I went ahead and I folded my bag in half. As you can see on the side here, it's 22 beads. So I am going to leave the two bottom beads to create a base or the side for my bag. So I'm going to use these two beads, 1, 2 on the side, to create the side. So I'm going to take my thread and pass it through the bottom beads, the first bead, and then I'm going to pass it through another side bead. Now the next thing, once you have done, I am going to use the thread. I'm going to make sure that my threads are the same size. So this is how it looks. I'm going to take the one that is facing up and insert two beads. So the first bead, I'm going to let it pass through, and then I'm going to use the other bead to cross the two threads. And there we go. There's a flower there. I hope you guys can see because the lighting is a little bit bright. So I'm going to go now and take the thread that is facing down and pass it through the bead next to it. The bottom bead next to it. I'm going to pass it through there. Then once I'm done passing it through the bottom bead, I'm also going to pass it through the side bead also on top. Right? There's another bead right next to it, right on top. So once you reach the side, as you can see, there are 3 beads already. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So we want to just insert one bead. So whenever you're threading beads, you must make sure that they are 4. So I'm going to create one bead, and this one bead is going to be used to thread both threads. So I'm going to pass them through. And there we go. This is the side is taking shape already. So you want to develop another layer on this first row. So now we're going to take the thread and pass it through the side bead. Then I'm going to use the same thread and place 2 beads. And the second bead is going to be used to cross over the 2 threads. So now I'm going to take the thread that is down, that is facing down, and I'm going to now insert it on the bead, the next bead at the bottom. Make sure that the thread is tight, and then I'm going to use the same thread and thread it on the side bead. So guys, now there are 3 beads. You want to now insert 1 bead on the thread that we've been using, and this bead is going to be used to cross over the 2 threads. So guys, you want to continue with this process until you reach the top of your bag. This is how it looks. As you can see that the side is actually taking shape. You want to continue with this process until I reach the top, and then I'll show you how the bag will look once both sides are done. So guys, we are done closing the sides. The next thing is to create the flap. So right on the top beads, I've counted 4 from the side, on both sides, and then I'm going to create my flap from the center. So where I've actually inserted the pin, and I'm going to take another thread and thread it on the bead right next to the pin. So now I am going to take the thread on the right. Just make sure that your thread are the same size. I'm going to take the thread on the right and insert 2 beads. And then I am going to take the 3rd bead to cross over the 2 threads. And there we go guys, another flower is done. So I'm going to continue this process and create another flower next to it. I'm going to take the thread at the bottom, pass it through the bottom bead, and then insert 2 beads from then. Now I'll show you guys how it looks once the flap is done. And there we go guys, we are almost done with our bag. The last thing that is needed is to insert the bag handle, and I am going to pick one side bead and run the thread through the bead, and then insert all the beads on the thread until I reach the length of the handle that I want. Then pick another side bead to run the thread through. Then once you're done, you just want to tie a knot and make sure that the knot is very tight. And there we go guys, we are done, and I really must say this is my first time making this bead bag and I'm loving it. I'm definitely going to make more colors and shapes. So guys, hope you will enjoy making this project as much as I did. As for me, see you on the next one.